Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum. Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum. Just chat with Uncle Dominic. Today's topic is motivational quotes that can help us if we understand its meaning. Let's get to know each other first. Okay, so this is Jeffrey. This is Shannon. Say hi.
Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
All right.
Hey.
Uh,
nice
so
to meet you.
yeah. So how are things in Malaysia right now, Shannon? You're in Malaysia still, right?
Yeah, I'm in Malaysia. I guess we're still in the lockdown 3.0, and for the past 2 weeks plus, and the cases has been coming down. Um, but yeah, everyone's in that mood still.
Right. Okay. And what about you, Jeffrey, in Melbourne, right? So how is it
Yeah.
there right now?
We just got out of our 14-day lockdown. We've got some restrictions sort of lessened, but we're sort of just slowly easing out of it. We're not
Okay.
going to try and rush it.
Sounds pretty good, right? So far, right now in
Uh,
Taiwan, it's
yeah.
actually getting kind of crazy, right? We
Oh, really? I thought Taiwan was one of the better, the countries that are doing better.
Well, it was like when it first started, it was really good, right? We were doing really well, and then uh, people get complacent and things happen,
Oh, yeah.
and
Okay.
and
Mm.
and so like just few months ago, I think it was like 2 months ago, it was this an outbreak start happening, right? So. Yeah, and the government was kind of slow at first, but then finally picked up. They closed down all the schools. Um, but still there are people who just goes around and don't care what not, and make things worse. But it happened like in the new Taipei city, so in the north, right? But eventually there are some that actually wants to come back down to the south or to the central area, and then yeah, so so right now we're having daily like probably like 15 to 20 deaths a day, so
Death.
That,
Oh, okay.
that.
Whoa.
deaths a day, right? But compared to Malaysia, I think Malaysia is kind of worse right now, right? With the deaths.
Yeah, the deaths. It's been a bit bad. Yeah, the deaths have been quite a bit bad. The cases are coming down from, I think we peaked at around 8,000 new cases per day, but now it's down to 4 to 5,000.
Yeah, so in Taiwan it's about like 100, cases a day. So
All
uh
right.
slow, but we're a small country. It's a small country here, so it's not as big as Malaysia. It's like tiny. We're tiny. So yeah, compared to Melbourne, right? So what is
I'm
the
sure Melbourne
Uh,
will have lesser case, right?
yeah, I mean, at the moment, we're, I think, one or two cases,
Right.
but if we're going off like per week or anything like that, it's probably like if one kind of situation. It's very low. So we've managed to definitely stay on top of it and try to handle it, especially with the most recent outbreaks sort of happening here and there. But yeah, we're definitely on top of it for the most part.
Yeah, so that's good, right? Well, compared to the three of us here, I think Melbourne is doing much better in in in,
Yeah.
in this case, right?
Oh yeah, sounds
But what
much
about
better.
the whole of Australia? Like the whole of Australia, what's it like?
Um,
Do you know?
I know there has been a lot of cases over in the Sydney, New South Wales area, which is the state north of where I'm at.
All right.
I'm I'm pretty close to the bottom of Australia. Um, but as for the rest of the country itself, very minimal. Like, I'm pretty sure our entire country is like half of what you guys are getting, if not less.
I think it's much less. I think it's
Yeah.
much less than
Much
that.
less.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say maybe like what 5 10% of what we're getting.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I think it affects with the people as well, right? And the government, how they handle it, how they perceive it, right? Like
Mm.
when the U.S. first got it, it's kind of strange at first. So Yeah. But anyway,
But
let's
I
go
think
to today's topic. All right. So I don't want to be too moody because this is positive vibes channel. So we want to be positive, right? So we need more positive
Most
in our
definitely.
daily life. All right. Okay. So just an easy one to start. Okay. So it says here, when life gives you Monday, dip it in glitter and sparkle all day. Okay. When life gives you Monday, dip it in glitter and sparkle all day. Okay, so this is by Ella Woodward. So I'm not so sure who she is, right? So, but yeah, so this is it, our first one. So, what do you think? What can we learn from this? And do is it easy to understand its meaning? And
well, my weekday starts on a Sunday instead of Monday. So,
Blue Monday, right? So,
but anyway, I get the meaning. Uh,
well,
I
I guess
mean,
in some ways we associate Monday as being blue because we have a holiday on Sunday and then we go to work on Monday, and it's kind of like
hmm,
it's dreadful because you want to be on a holiday, you want holiday spirit, right? And so in this case, if we dip it in glitter and sparkle all day, so glitter, sparkling, right? So
hmm.
how do we do that? So how do we dip it in glitter and sparkle all day if it's like
Well,
Monday?
I guess because for the most part, we sort of we live our lives we work our jobs between Monday to Friday for the most part, and then we live for the weekend. So if we're only doing things where we're only living for the weekend, uh, certainly we always will come down from that sort of weekend high. It's like similar to like if you go on vacation and then you come back to your normal life, you sort of end up missing that sort of freedom or the enjoyment that you had during your vacation period. It's sort of similar in that same sense. And I think in terms of that saying is how do we brighten up the Monday? Um, it's definitely difficult to say because you can't just sprinkle glitter and everything is okay. It's too simplistic or too idealistic. It's more about how can we treat the rest of the week like we do the weekend? Is there a way where we can live that sort of life that it's no longer gonna, oh, you get the Monday blues. It's all right, let's do this. It's just another day, but we're gonna get it positive and everything of the sort. So that's, I guess, my interpretation of how I view it. And I think there's probably a better mindset to sort of uh, to have instead of that interpretation.
Yep.
I
Well,
don't know.
thank you, Jeffrey. What about you, Shannon? What
Mm.
do you think?
I get the basic message that the saying is trying to say. Although I don't quite agree with the wording of glitter because
Mm,
yeah,
Right.
glitter seems very superficial. But I
agree.
get the message that it's trying to convey. For me personally, I remember even when I first started working and I was talking to some colleagues, how to get through the day.
Mm.
Um, for me, even what I do now is I would try to find something, even something small, whatever achieve, what no, it doesn't have to be anything major, but something small achievement like maybe walking a bit more, doing a bit more, just some small things that that highlights the day, that makes the day a bit more worthwhile. I think that could be what that's trying to say. Like some small thing that you might just overlook it, but it's something more than that you did yesterday, something extra that just puts a little extra shine on the usual routine.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I guess in a sense, glitter is like tiny things that we put in ourselves, right? Like for example, like for me right now, There are times I feel very negative, but when I get up in the morning, I feel like I need to do one positive thing, and then it just picks up after that. Right, that's how I feel. Right. Okay, so let's go on
Yeah.
to the next one. If all right, so um, let's see. Okay, we need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes. Understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. Okay, so this is by Ariana Huffington. All right, so one more time. We need to
Right.
accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes. Understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. All right. Too wordy.
No, I like this. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit wordy, but I really like this. It's the same thing that I try to instill in my children, where um, failure or success. No, no. There's no such thing as mistakes if you're able to learn from them. There's no wrong if you're able to learn from it. Even if you mess up, if you learn from it, then it's not a mistake. It's a learning point.
Mhm.
So yeah, I totally agree. It's very wordy. It's very
It's
wordy,
wordy. Yeah, it is
but
wordy.
yeah, but making mistakes, royally screwing up, it's two things. You should learn not to do it again, and then you learn how to get through it,
Mhm.
emotionally or whatever. You learn how to stand strong against whatever tide, whatever mistake that you made, whatever repercussion that you have, and additionally, it gives you a sense of responsibility. So it's a whole package of things that is a part of being successful.
All right. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Shannon there. And like, there's so many like quotable, um, I guess, lines or meaningful quotes that have similar meanings. Like the whole like you fall down 9 times but get back up 10. Start from the bottom to reach to the top. You always there's never a pinnacle per se, but like in terms of I guess, yeah, in terms of trying to define success and using failures as sort of to help build that up, is definitely a much more positive outlook than seeing as failures is your end,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just either a new starting point or even just a building block on how to improve. That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put it in a perspective of a normal person, right? Sometimes people make mistakes. They don't know it, right? And so if
Hmm.
I make mistake, I don't know it till later on, and so I feel the consequences of that. So in this sense, how can a normal person, um, go about?
I would have to say it depends on the support network that you have. So, for example, just because you make a mistake, having the support that teaches you to either correct that mistake or makes you understand why it's a mistake, and that way, moving forward, that you never make that mistake again, or even sometimes you make that mistake several times, um, without realizing it. And but each time you will still get better at it because you'll rework it to find out what is correct or what is right for you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Shannon. I was messaging you. I was talking to you yesterday on chat, and then you said this is your favorite quote, right? It says, "This too shall pass." Okay, you said
Oh,
it's your
oh
all
yeah.
time, right?
I love that. I mean, I love that quote. I think ever since my teenage years, um, initially I thought it was just for when when going through bad times, even when you're feeling pain, even physical pain. when I hurt myself, just I told myself, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. um and through whatever heartbreaks, it really really helped me through tough times. um but then, as we get older, I've come to realize that I never really saw that phrase fully, where it's just not talking about going through the bad times, but it's also telling you, when you're going through the good times, that that's not going to last as well. So you have to appreciate what's going on. Yeah, that's. I think I only realized that, like, I think last year or 2 years ago. So I really love that quote. Um, yeah.
Thank you. What do you think, Jeffrey?
No, I 100% agree with Shannon there. Like, um, on the surface, it looks like it's supposed to be talking about dealing with the negatives, but then when you think about it, I guess altruistically, or like in the bigger or the grander scheme of things, that it's about everything. Everything's not gonna be the same the whole way through. Things change in life, and we need to be adaptable to it, both in the good and the bad.
Yeah, when I read this one, I was like, oh, this too shall pass. It's definitely applicable to like when I'm feeling down. Things bad things happen. Yeah, I like to like there's this one that's very similar. Like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? So I keep telling that to myself. There is, but what if I'm still in the tunnel for a long time? It's a long tunnel. How do I
Hmm.
see the light, right? Something like that, right? Okay.
Hmm.
Jeffrey, do you have any favorite quote that you want to
Oh,
add?
I guess this one's always stuck with me. It's like, for me, it's I'll say it, and I'll get gauge your reactions to it.
Okay.
If you're not remembered, you never existed. It's a bit,
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. It is more on the darker side. I know we're trying to keep things positive, um, but in terms of how this stuck with me is that realizing we do have sort of a finite amount of time here to sort of leave an impression. It's about, how do you want to leave that impression? Is it by becoming famous? Is it showcasing the loved ones that you mean something to them, and vice versa? Like, you're receiving that love. I think, whilst it does sound very quite on the darker side, I think it could easily be put with a positive spin by showcasing, what do you appreciate in life? Do you think everything that you wanted in life could be achieved? And um, how can you leave your mark that you'd be happy with?
Hmm. Shannon, you want to go have a go at it first?
Yeah, that's a really good saying. It's actually something that I've thought about since school, where sometimes you see the other students who they're not doing well, they don't want to study, and I'm thinking to myself, don't they want to leave a mark on this world? Don't,
Hmm.
or are they just passing by? Um, so that's something I've thought about for quite a while. Um, but as you grow older, at first I thought you need to like aspire really grand things, astronaut or rocket scientist, whatever. But then it's not so much as that, but the legacy that you leave behind. As a teacher, the students that you've taught that will carry on, who learn their lessons from you. Um, your family, the children that you leave behind, your legacy. So So I guess from what you said, it's not really dark if that's what you take for you to consider what do you want to do, what are you going to do with what you're given, what you have.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, for me, I never actually really thought about it. Even when I was in the high school, right? It just just to get by, like get by, right? Do things that I can get by with it. Like and Shannon mentioned twice already. As you grow older, so it's kind of like the saying: the older we are, the wiser we are, right?
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
this actually this phrase this quote actually hit me when I was about 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago when I lost my dad, right? And
Hmm.
so um, I, I didn't really I appreciate my family a lot, but it wasn't like I appreciate it too much. Like I didn't actually like make too much of an effort to contact my family. And so when I did, and it was kind of too late, so my dad kind of passed. And then when I was cleaning his stuff in the house, because we live in different countries now, so I have to clean up. When I was cleaning up his stuff, I found his note. He has three goals in life, right? Three goals in life, and one of them was to be remembered. I mean, that is difficult. Like, it hurts me a lot because when I went to his funeral, right? When we had his funeral, uh, it was just me and his brother. That's pretty much it. There's none of his friends show up. So for me, that was like, oh man, if I had my funeral, I would hope that many people show up to my funeral to remember me in some sense, right? I want to leave like you said, a mark in this world, right? So
Hmm.
so yeah, so ever since then it just hit me a lot, and I try to uh, do better for myself and for my students, because I'm an educator. So I changed my whole perspective of thinking. The way I teach is a bit more different. I want to make an impact towards my students. At the same time, it's kind of like I do it in hopes that they will remember me or come to my funeral one day in the darker side. But yeah.
But Dominic, just to put some perspective, for me, I don't really care if there's a lot of people, but if I was your dad, just for my son to make the trip all the way from Nugget to be there, I mean, heck yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's about quantity, right? It's about quality. Like, I'm sure, yeah, he's still just as appreciative that you're there than if there was a million people kind of situation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, well, thanks for saying that, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Let's not be too moody. Not too moody, all right? All right. Pick it up. Pick it up. More motivation, all right? Okay, so here's one more I found. Um, this one definitely it involves Shannon a lot. Don't limit your challenges. Challenge your limits. Right.
Oh,
All
okay,
right.
right.
So I follow
Yeah.
you on Facebook, Shannon. So I see your family, and I'm like, wow, what are they doing? Oh my gosh, look at your daughters. It's like, wow, they're challenging their limits. So I feel like this is a good one to use for today. So don't limit your challenges. Challenge your limits. All right. So who want to have a go at this first?
I feel like this is more of Shannon's field. I'm happy to reciprocate.
Um, I think you're talking about the workouts and stuff that that you see my daughters do. For me, I won't say I don't put any limits to them because there are limits. I do tell them, there are certain limits that they should not cross. But then of things that they want to do, um, over this 1 year that we've been in and out of the lockdown.
Hmm.
I remember one thing I was telling my kids because they weren't going to school. I just tell them that every day they have to do one thing that at least one thing that which is a bit more than yesterday.
Hmm.
Whether it's working out, whether it's reading something new, a topic. So they have to do at least one thing that improves them physically, intellectually, whatever. Um, so I it's not so much that I want them to something extra. It's not really to compensate for the schooling that they're missing out, but I just want to instill in them that just improve yourself every day. That's it. Just that one extra step a day. Doesn't have to be a big step, but one extra step a day, it's already improving your life ever so slightly, and this accumulates. So, so yeah, basically that's it. Um,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
So nothing to add, Jeffrey.
In terms of that, I mean, once again, have to agree with you, Shannon. I think in terms of challenging the limits isn't necessarily putting the like setting one specific goal and then trying to break through that goal. It's more of that you open yourself or expand even your goals itself. So if you've reached one point, it branches out to several opportunities or possibilities. So so I don't think it's if you've got a grand goal, then always try to get to it. But it's about meeting those little goals as well that
Right.
reaches to your grand goal, whether it's linear or it diverges through different paths that eventually reaches that goal. I think it's always looking ahead, adapting again, and hopefully one day reaching that grand goal overall.
Right.
And if you do reach it, then create a new goal. Keep improving.
And that's it. That's the thing, right? Keep improving, right? I actually like this, right? So challenge your limits. It's like keep improving, keep finding new things to improve in our life, right? If we do this, we'll get better. But it's hard to gauge sometimes, right? It's hard to gauge ourselves. But I feel like just a little bit, even just a little bit, right? We just have to just if we think of something. I feel like if we think of something, we should try to make an effort to do it, even though it might be a small thing, right? Just make an effort. I think, right? It just
Uh,
reminds me of the anime that's pretty popular right now, the My Hero Academia, right? It says plus
mm,
ultra, do everything, extra more, right? Just do one extra. If you reach your limit, do extra, right? Do the extra,
yeah.
right? Okay. Did you have another quote you want to share with us, Shannon?
Um. Well, I guess my other go-to quote is probably the more things change, the more they stay the same. Um.
Say again. Say
Yeah,
it
that's
again.
my other. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Okay.
Um. I I I, I don't really know what's the exact meaning behind it, but just for me personally, it's just although I'm repeating the same thing, as we are 40 years old already, and me and Dom, I'm sure all of us agree, we're 40 already.
Hey,
So,
are you 40,
um,
Jeffrey? Are you 40?
I am not.
Are you
Okay.
younger? Are you
right,
I'm
younger?
good. I'm much younger.
you might, all right.
Yeah.
Me and
So
Dom, yeah,
We're old
we're
fogies
40.
here.
Yeah. Um, I guess a lot of things have changed in our life, if from 5, 10, 15 years ago. But Dom is wearing his Spider-Man Miles Morales sweater.
mm.
Um, I just messaged my son on my gaming achievements. Um, so
You
it's
just have
not,
a chat
yeah,
with Mike Morales,
yeah.
Asian one.
So things change. I mean, the people that we have our friends, we have our old friends from school, from university, but then as we grow older, uh, we we are not we're the same person that we are before, but at the same time we are not. We are moving. The base person is still there, but then uh, the path that we grow, that just adds on to it. The people that we cross adds on to it. But so so as the years go by, things are change. Things are changing. The people around you might change, but then the core of who you are, it's it's more or less the same.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's fair. Like every time I do think about that quote, it's that you can, because the more things change, the more things stay the same. The likelihood of you being able to fall back onto something is quite nice in terms of like, how do I explain it? Um, like uh, like you were saying about like the core of it all, I I think it's where things stay the same. So if even if the world is evolving or the things in your environment are changing, you know that the core principles of the environment are still going to be the same. It's just how it's reinterpreted um, through the changes. That's really it. Like in terms of, I guess we call them basic needs for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like as long as you can meet those basic needs, however the world is changing, you know you'll still need those basic needs.
Right. Thank you.
Hopefully that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that does make sense. Yeah. I think for me that chord is kind of hard. It's like I feel like sometimes it brings me down. Like everything I try to change or do better, I'm still the same person. In some ways,
Hmm.
right? It's just maybe that means I'm changing the wrong things, or I shouldn't change. I should be more myself instead of be like someone else. But I like it in a way as well that things happen for a reason. Um, we shouldn't be too dragged by it. We should just look for something more positive, and move
Hmm.
on, right? Okay, well, we're almost about time, so I have one last one. If we can go through this one last one, and I really like this one, so I saved it for the last one. Okay, and this is by Maya Angelou, right? So you guys, I'm sure you all know who she is, right? It
Hmm.
says, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." So one more time, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." It's not very wordy.
No, no, it's definitely a good one and very deep. So, like, might need a moment.
Like I feel like Maya Angelou, she has a lot of things happen in her life, but in some ways, she's still pretty positive, right? Um,
Hmm.
and it says here the quote is like a letter to her daughter, so I feel like it's a good message to children or to younger generations, especially to you, Jeffrey. You're younger than us, right? So you have more to bring to this world, right?
Well, only through the wisdom that you guys have in experience over me being on this world for longer. So I do also appreciate any wisdom imparted. Um, this one's kind of tough because, like, when it comes to Maya Angelou, it's usually in the context of usually like systemic oppressions. So obviously, it's an uplifting quote for sure. Um,
For
but
sure, because it's in America. She's an American, right? So and
hmm,
she's black also, right? Darker skin, and so this
hmm,
it's difficult for them, right? But as you can
yeah,
see, right now in the world, even Asians are getting discriminated by with lots of new things now. Um, so
hmm.
it's strange. Like I've seen this happening in Malaysia before, but it's not too big. But I think right now in Malaysia, it's probably pretty big right now. Racial differences, right? Shannon, do you agree?
Yeah, from when we were kids, it's definitely much more significant. In regards to the racial separation
Right.
between everyone. Yeah.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I think in terms of this, it's more about like it. it's something that builds me, but it doesn't define me per se.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like I won't be reduced by it as a means to be pushed back down, but it's also like just because I've the it might not even be the case of like you see me as I am now, whether it be at my lowest or my highest, but I certainly won't I won't take or accept hate because of it to try to reduce me from my position.
Right. Yeah.
If
Exactly.
anything, it
Right.
should try me to like push forward and either be better or help educate for others to be better.
Shannon.
Actually, when I hear that, the first thing that came to mind is the lyrics from the Genuine song. Um, what was it? The same OG where even though I have my own CD, maybe even on TV, but there ain't no changing me. I'm still be the same OG.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I guess yeah. Whether with that quote, whether it's the good things, the bad things that happen to you, just don't let that make you a lesser person than you are.
Hmm, exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, it's um, sometimes we need to know that because I feel like at a working world, right? Or even as an educator, is sometimes we get parents or even we get our coworkers who try to tell us that this is not how you do it or you're terrible at it or whatever. I feel like sometimes it brings a person down, right, in the world, right? So it just we need to you know refuse to be reduced by it, right? Just refuse that saying these are bad stuff. I know they are bad, so I don't want to be dragged down by what you are saying. I should be finding something that's good from it. If, like, for example, if someone tell me, oh, Dominic, you're teaching, you're speaking too fast. I'm like, some people will be like, that's how I speak, right? But it should be
Hmm,
like, okay, so I understand that maybe your children have a little bit of difficulty in understanding that I spoke too fast. So I will try to accommodate, you know, I don't know, find some positiveness in it, right? Not to be like
hmm.
dragged down by it. That's how I feel.
Yeah, so it's not about that they have critiqued your teachings saying that you're a bad teacher, but it's more highlighting that um, it has impacted someone else and that they would like you to adjust
Hmm.
for their needs.
Right.
So it's sort of in a way trying to. It's not just about yourself; it's also the impacts of others that you impart, I guess.
Yeah. In
Mm,
the ways, yeah, because I think I feel like everywhere we go, we impart something to someone. Someone touch us, well, not touch us physically, but like, you know, affect us in some way or somewhat. Like, no matter what we say or do, like if we go out, we buy a drink, or we go to the supermarket, we involve other people around us. Things like this. I feel like we're linked somehow, right? So to be
mm,
positive, I think it brings a good vibe to everyone.
mm.
Sing, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or am I being too wordy right now? I'm too being too wordy. Okay. Well,
Mm.
if no one has anything else to add, and we should end today's chat from here. I want to thank. You have anything to add, Shannon?
No, no. Thanks for having me. This is a new experience.
Mm.
This is new to me as
Likewise.
well. This is my third time doing it, and I always wanted to do it, and just finding the time and just give it a go, and have a go at it, right? And I want to thank Jeffrey and Shannon for coming in and have a chat with me and talking about being positive, right? So hopefully we all go out and share more positiveness to everyone else, right? So thank you, Thank you for
All
coming.
right. Thanks. Nice to meet you,
Thank
Jeffrey.
Goodbye.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Um, that's Shannon and Jeffrey. Thank you to all those who come and watch the stream. I hope you get something and learn something from this, as I have. I feel like um, we need to be positive daily, no matter what. If bad things happen, we need to try to find the positiveness in everything we do, in everything that happens, negative things that happen. We need to still find that positiveness. Okay, that's it for tonight. Hope you guys have a good night. Thank you. Goodbye.